Unpredictable, and downright chaotic day of the FIFA World Cup 2026 so far. If you missed the action, don't sweat it, because in this explainer, we're going to break down literally every major moment from what was an absolutely unforgettable day of football. You know, when we look back at the history of this massive tournament, we always have to ask ourselves, which day truly changed the trajectory of the World Cup? Which 24-hour period separated the genuine contenders from the pretenders? Well, looking at the sheer scale of the events that just unfolded, June 14th makes a massive case for being that exact turning point. I mean, just think about this. In a single day, we witnessed 8 goals in one match. We saw a dramatic last-minute winner that sent an entire stadium into absolute delirium. We were treated to a stunning comeback, a 5-goal attacking masterclass, and, perhaps most importantly, one team stepping up and announcing themselves as a terrifying World Cup contender. So we're going to unpack all of this, match by match. Section 1, Tactical Walls and Total Blitzes. These early matches really showcased two completely opposite ends of the footballing spectrum. On one hand, you had Australia. Their whole approach relied on being incredibly compact, disciplined, and defensively organized. And then, on the completely opposite end, you had Germany. Their philosophy was just relentless, explosive out of the gates, bringing wave after wave of attacks. Let's look at how Australia executed their game plan first. So, the day kicked off with Australia taking on Turkey in this absolutely crucial Group D showdown. Now, both teams knew 3 points could completely flip their World Cup campaign. Turkey actually had moments where they looked genuinely dangerous, but every single time they pushed, they hit an absolute wall of green and gold. Australia absorbed the pressure perfectly, and then, with a lightning-fast transition, they caught Turkey totally off guard. They punished the mistake, took the lead, and as Turkey desperately pushed forward looking for that equalizer, the Socceroos just struck again on the counter. A massive 2-0 victory, and honestly, a clean sheet that was just as impressive as the 3 points themselves. But right while Australia built the tactical wall, our next team decided to just bring a giant wrecking ball. 7. Seriously, just let that number sit there for a second. 7 goals in a single World Cup match. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, expected what happened next when Germany stepped onto the pitch against Curaçao. The Germans completely exploded out of the gates. Within moments, Felix Nmecha scores one of the fastest goals of the entire tournament. And that early strike, it completely shifted the mood. Germany literally smelled blood. It was just wave after wave of relentless attacks crashing into the Curaçao defense. Every single German player looked supremely confident. Every pass found its target, and every possession was dangerous. By halftime, the game was already slipping away, but Germany just completely refused to take their foot off the gas, delivering a staggering 7-goal performance on football's biggest stage. Yet, you know what I really love about the World Cup? It's that even in a heavy defeat, history can still be made. Because despite that crazy scoreline, Curaçao experienced a moment that'll live forever in their history. They scored their first ever FIFA World Cup goal. The stadium absolutely erupted, and in this beautiful display of sportsmanship, even the German supporters were on their feet applauding the achievement. So, yeah, a 7-1 final, but a moment of pure, undeniable magic for Curaçao. Moving into Section 2, resilience against the odds. Because if Germany delivered pure domination, this next matchup delivered pure, unadulterated drama. We're talking about the Netherlands versus Japan. And honestly, this was arguably the most entertaining match of the entire day. It was this intense tactical battle where two incredibly skilled teams just pushed each other to the absolute limit. And you could feel that every single mistake was going to be incredibly costly. Let's trace this emotional roller coaster. Early on, the Dutch attack looked super sharp, and they quickly took control. Then, mid-match, after some back and forth, the Netherlands regains the lead. The massive sea of orange fans in the stands were totally ready to celebrate, but Japan completely refused to quit. Deep into stoppage time, they produced one final desperate attack. The finish was incredibly clinical. 2-2. They rescued a priceless point right at the absolute death. Talk about resilience. Alright, Section 3, tension and last-minute winners. Because this next match wasn't a flurry of goals. It was agonizing, literally edge-of-your-seat tension between Ivory Coast and Ecuador. Both of these squads knew a single mistake could decide everything in Group E. So it turned into this incredibly tense chess match. Defenders are just throwing their bodies into massive tackles. Goalkeepers are staying hyper alert because the actual clear-cut chances were virtually non-existent. And the minutes just kept passing and passing. Still no breakthrough. It felt like it was totally destined for a scoreless draw. But then, very late in the game, the perfect position was finally found. A Amad Diallo found himself in exactly the right place, at exactly the right time. One chance, one shot, one goal. And the stadium just exploded. Ivory Coast stole the victory right at the death. That 1-0 win instantly turned the Group E standings upside down, putting the African side firmly in the driver's seat for the knockout stages. It really just proves you only need one split second of magic. Which leads us to Section 4, a ruthless attacking masterclass. Because right when you thought the goal nets could finally take a breather, we got handed another absolute goal fest.
Sweden against Tunisia. And guys, I cannot overstate this enough. Sweden was absolutely ruthless. Their attack was just clicking from the opening whistle. Every single time they moved forward, it looked dangerous, and practically every chance ended with a shot on target. Tunisia just couldn't contain that immense pressure. The goals just kept coming until Sweden sent a crystal clear 5-1 message to the rest of Group F.
And what's really fascinating here, during that Swedish masterclass, we actually got a really cool glimpse into the tech side of the sport. The officials utilized cricket-style snicko audio technology during a VAR review. It's just a crazy, super interesting look at how football technology is continuing to evolve on the biggest stage to make sure they get the calls exactly right. Okay, Section 5, naming Team of the Day. Because out of all this absolute chaos, the late winners, the crazy tactical battles, the new tech, there can really only be one. And that team is without a doubt Germany. 7 goals, one of the fastest goals of the tournament. Just total unwavering domination from the opening whistle all the way to the final seconds. Honestly, no team has looked more convincing so far. With a performance like that, Germany has officially announced themselves as a genuine, highly terrifying contender to lift that 2026 World Cup trophy. So, to wrap this up, June 14th literally delivered everything football fans could ever ask for. We got goals, drama, history, and incredibly late winners across the board. Australia shutting down Turkey 2-0, Germany's historic 7-1 explosion, Japan's super resilient 2-2 draw, Ivory Coast's late 1-0 steal, and of course Sweden's 5-1 dominance. But you know, the World Cup is really just getting started, so I want to pass the question over to you. Looking back at this absolute roller coaster of a day, which result shocked you the most? Was it Germany's 7-goal explosion? Japan's crazy late comeback? Or maybe Sweden's attacking masterclass? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And hey, make sure to subscribe so you never miss another explainer as we continue tracking all the incredible chaos of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.